Hello and welcome back to Building on a Budget Models. I'm Thomas, and today we're going to be making a 3D printed car lift. Now the model we're building today comes from Rory at Weland's Forge. Rory uses PLA or polylactic acid in a filament 3D printer, specialising in tabletop games, sort of miniatures and scale models, things like that. He also is happy to do custom work, and I found the designs for this car lift on the website Thingiverse, and he made it for me, so that was great. Here first I'll show you how it goes together. Firstly, the arms of the lift are in two pieces, wedged together and against the teeth in the side of the vertical parts to move them up and down. It's quite good that you can adjust them to any particular height. Now when you're putting your model car onto it, you should always make sure that both the sides of the lift are at the same position, and I have tested this with a few different model cars and it is strong enough to support it. It also comes with a small piece which I believe is supposed to be the motor, as you can see here, so I'll attach that in some way as well. Now you might find with any filament 3D printing that there's a little bit of stray filament. Those can easily be cut away with a sprue cutter. It's also a good idea to sand it smooth, unless of course you want it to have a rough texture. It will have some lines and bumps from the manufacturing process. I'm using 400 grit sandpaper here. I'm not too worried about sanding it completely flat, as I will prime this before painting it. If this was resin, you should wear a face mask, but since this is just PLA plastic, it should be fine. And there it is after 3 coats of Tamiya fine white primer. That's also filled up some of the gaps. Now, many of the designs I'd seen were these sort of blue uprights with yellow supports, so I used this Wilco gloss enamel paint straight out of the can. Here you can see the uprights after 3 coats, and the lids as well were also in that blue, and I used 2 coats of the yellow, but tried not to get it around the part that goes into the upright. I then used a little bit of matte black for these kind of rubber stoppers which you position the car onto. Because I was sparing with the paint, the mechanism still works really well, and they fit in quite nicely and can be adjusted quite easily. I'm not going to glue any of this because that means I can take it apart should I want to. If I chose to repaint it or to fix any parts of it, I can do that. Now the next thing I want to do is add some colour to the motor. The motor I'd seen on real life versions seemed to be semi-gloss black. This is primed just like the other parts, and yeah, I'm just adding it straight from the pot. Now I'm then going to weather by using a little bit of dry brushing. Firstly, I'm going to dry brush a bit of iron onto here. We imagine that the cars have driven over this part. The iron should simulate a little bit of chipped and scratched paint. I'll also use a little bit of matte black here to simulate sort of tyre marks, because obviously this bit will have been driven over. For those of you who don't know, dry brushing is achieved by using a dry brush, and then the paint that you get onto it, you wipe almost all of it off on a paper towel, and then what little is left should come off in small parts to give a sort of, you know, chipping, scratched effect. I'm pretty pleased with that so far. Obviously you can weather this as much or as little as you want. Now I printed off these BendPak logos. BendPak are a company which make a lot of these. However, I realised when looking at some of the reference pictures that the logos are actually wrong. These are ones that they use on their website. but the ones that appear on their lifts are slightly different. But never mind, I printed them off, I wasn't going to do it again. This doesn't need to look completely accurate. Did alright with these, and I managed to get one on each of the uprights. Use a little bit of micro set to help them adhere to the surface. These verticals have turned out quite smooth since I sanded them. Now these are actually tyre decals from a Revell Formula 1 kit. However, they look a lot like the kind of instruction sheets that you see on the side of this piece of equipment. So I decided to use a couple in places, and I also found that I printed this Gran Turismo Association shield, and I quite like the look of it, so I thought I'll just stick it on. My plan long term for this is to use it in a garage diorama with some more mechanic figures that I have. If you can think of anything, any sets which would look good in that particular diorama, please let me know in the comments below. Here the other tyre decal is going onto the side of the motor. Again, here I'm drilling a hole in the side of the motor, as I'm going to add a little wire to this to give the simulation of the power leading to the machine itself. And there you are, you see the wire which is leading up to the top, and I just put a little dab of super glue on the back of this which glued it on perfectly fine. And then the top of the wire I just put into the hole at the top, and then the lid over that, and no need to glue this at all as the force just keeps it in place. Might add some buttons to this, probably should have done that already, but never mind. There's also 4 holes in the bottom of the base which I hope to put some tiny screws in when I finally put this in, but there we are, you can see with it supporting the Revell Shelby Cobra. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please do check out Rory's shop, Weland's Forge, the link's in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Please do comment, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.